Dr. PC Mathew, what are the key aspects of being a husband?
There are so many aspects, um, which is not very easy, especially when we look at what the Bible expects of a husband. One key word that keeps um, coming again and again when we read, especially Ephesians chapter 5, where we read certain roles that Paul defines for husbands. The first thing he says, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. So basically, he's calling him to die. You know, Jesus died for the church. So I would want to kind of make again the word love as an acronym to define, uh, how husbands should fulfill their role as a husband. So the first one, I would say L would stand for lead with grace. Lead with grace in the direction that God has for your family, not in the direction you think the family has to go, in the way that God wants your family to move, which means as a husband, I need to discern. I need to discern not just alone with my spouse, that where is that the Lord is asking us to move in our relationship as a family. And so there is this term headship used, but this headship is not to show my macho power or my strength and put down the other, but that headship has to do with how Jesus leads his church, his flocks. So as a husband, I think that leadership uh, that I take has to be modeled after how Jesus has shown his servant leadership by washing the feet of his disciples. So lead with grace, not with authority, not with your power, not with the fact that you're a man, but lead with grace in the way that God wants you to go. The second is O, is offer yourself fully to serve. Unfortunately, we see in many cases, it is the women who serve more than the men. Men walk around, to show their strength, and they kind of prove that they are leaders by really not serving much, But the model that Jesus showed and he wanted, and which Paul emphasizes in Ephesians, is to give up your life to serve. Today we speak so much about human rights. It's my right. But, you know, when we look at Jesus, he gave up his right in order to love us. And that's the way, we as husbands are expected to offer ourselves. The third thing is value your spouse. One of the comments that we have often heard from many women. We did a seminar for pastors, and the wives were taken separately, husbands were taken separately, and we had some conversations. It was so painful to hear some of the wives say that our husbands don't treat us as human beings, they treat us as objects. So we are there only to fulfill some of their needs. Now, I would say value her as a person who matters to you the most. And if that's the way God values me, that's the way Jesus values me as a human being. And that's what I'm asked to model after. So that's the third aspect. Value your spouse. And fourthly, E is enhance her by caring and providing for her needs. Being there to care and to provide, making sure that she is also growing. Not only I am growing in every area, but making sure she is spiritually growing, she is growing physically, emotionally, in every sense, she is equally getting enhanced or more, is something that as a husband I need to be sensitive to. So I said, lead with grace, offer yourself to fully serve, value her as a person, and enhance her by providing for her needs and being with her. So this is what I would say is the role that husband should fulfill as a husband's call.